Speaking with solemnity and deep respect, Muinjo offered her personal recollections of a leader whose influence transcended generations. Muinjo, a former English teacher, was but a young reporter, and in 1991 she received a mammoth task, and that was to cover the activities of Dr. Sam Nujoma. Reflecting on her interaction with the late president, Muinjo described him as a man of consistency.
So he called me and said, "Where have you been? We missed you." And so they were actually happy to see me together with the protocol officers there. So he said, "No, from here." So we go on a jet. We came by car. So we made arrangements because we had to go to the next destination. Since then, as a student, I grew, through the ranks in the newsroom, but having been a journalist, that's why I was saying it's 14 years really of working with them. And then I learned so much, because it's a time of transition. I was just chatting about the Heart Club FM that was asking me to say some of the camera people there, they were from other groups in Namibia. I worked with Mr. Johan Jooste, Peggy Lecht-Helm. There were those who were, for example, the ones interviewed also that's the same station saying, "Oh, how could I work with a founding president?" Who some people saying maybe he was a terrorist, although we had a national reconciliation policy, just to see the other side of him. Then they were also asking me, "Oh, how did you work then with the camera people from different groups?" It was great because we were almost like a family.
Nujoma's leadership was especially pronounced during times of conflict, such as negotiations in the Democratic Republic of Congo. The veteran journalist remembers that the late president's demeanor was serious and unyielding in tense moments. This, she says, was reflective of a man determined to find peace in the face of devastation.
Now, this famous other point that people are referring to, the Sustainable Development Summit that was in South Africa, I covered it in Joburg. In fact, that one was another highlight where the president was telling the then UK Prime Minister to say, you know what you owe Southern Africa. We saw it, Blanche did the story. And also then former Zimbabwean President Mugabe, what he said also there to say, you keep, your England, UK, and I keep my Zimbabwe. So serious matters, but from that Sustainable Development Summit, after he has spoken, where people actually thought, oh, this was a straight talker, and some people will look at him and say, maybe you seem to be fearing him. I was in the corridors with other journalists as they left the hall. He actually called me, and he called me closer and he told me to say, no, I had to say that because he knew what he caused, and then now he sits there. So, and fellow journalists were now wondering, oh, you can still come closer to him.
Muinjo shared memories of lighter moments too. She recalled how Nujoma encouraged camaraderie, whether through group jogs, shared meals, or swimming trips. She reminisced even during state visits, he facilitated unprecedented access to key figures, offering opportunities to hear stories and perspectives that other journalists could only dream of. However, Nujoma's passion for Namibia's development often sparked tension, especially when his efforts were misunderstood. Muinjo remembered one instance involving the country's controversial seal culling practices.
My editor asked me then to go, we need to speak to him about it. Now, to find that interview. So there was an event, I don't know whether it was a New Year greeting or so we have to take a chance now to say, okay, apart from that, let's also brief and say, there is this story internationally, we have to address it. So finally I got a chance to say I must interview him, but I knew because it was a topic that was of serious nature. So when I came to him there, so I think that in a way also irritated him, that's my view, because people seem not to have also appreciated why Namibia was doing it and how it was doing it, although the country also tried to explain. So when we started with the interview, he looked so angry. Okay, maybe facially when you looked at him to say, we are doing this because of this. We tried to explain. why are these people really trying to give a different perception? So as a young journalist, I'll hold my mic and sweating actually and change from the one hand to another hand. But it's not that he was angry with me. It's only that, the topic was of serious nature.
Even after stepping back from state leadership, Nujoma's influence lingered. Muinjo noted how many Namibians continued to quote his famous lines about unity and common purpose. His commitment to policies like Vision 2030, gender equality and the 50-50 representation of women in leadership was enduring, she said. Emil Seibep, NBC News, Windhoek.